Hello everyone, I'm Ricky, aka the Sorare Mamba from the Sorare Thursday Club. Welcome to the Amateur Hour. Do not worry, the title is from my love of Anchorman and Ron Burgundy, and not because I expect you to listen to me waffle on for 1 hour. I am riding solo today while the other members of the club are busy. But we had some big Sorare news today. We saw the release of the new season Premier League cards. And with that comes the return of the Premier League Amateur League. For anyone that doesn't know, this is the free-to-play option on Sorare. So very fantasy Premier League-ish. You know, you have your budget and your players to pick from, put out a five-a-side team from your squad of 8, and they've got to fit under the cap of 400. So you're not worried about them being under 23, what they cost in limited or rare or any other niche or requirement like that. We just want the best players to fit into a cap of 400 points to win us some prizes. You can win limited in the competition. So it is the lowest way to progress. And you can use it for private leagues and bragging rights. So yeah, it's a good place to start when you're getting involved in Sorare. With it still being early in the season as well, we are going to look at banking some of those cheap cap players at low cap price now before they barrel out of control and we can't fit them in later. Why would they be low now? They could have just transferred to the club. We've just had the transfer window end, so there's lots of players at new clubs. They could have been injured and they're just on their way back. They could have recently earned a spot in the first team this season. Maybe they've got that low L15 because they weren't in the team at the end of last season. And with it being a new one, they're making a team. They're now pressing on. So yeah, we're going to have a look at 8 budget picks. I'm not recommending you pick a whole team of budget players, but you know, if you've got one in each position, that's going to allow you to slot in some of the bigger hitters and give you this flexibility when these guys have really great matchups to go ahead and use them. So we are going to go for 2 picks from each player, each position. I have got some notes ready as well. You know, I am prepared for a change. So there is actually reasoning to my picks. So we will go ahead and jump in with the goalies. And my first goalkeeper is Aaron Ramsdale, coming in at a cap cost of 40. 40 is the lowest you can get. They can have an L15 lower than 40, but for this competition, when picking someone, the lowest they can count towards your overall 400 cost is 40. And Aaron himself does just that, coming back from England international duty after a performance against Scotland, where Harry Maguire cost him a clean sheet. He'll be looking to get back in sticks for Arsenal this weekend. They've started the season strongly, as you're probably aware. The defence looks good, even though they've lost new signing Timber. They also have midweek utility with the Champions League. This is useful for a common goalkeeper because if you enter semi-pro or cap 220, you might want to use a common goalie as one of your common allowances, so you don't have to go out and buy a limited goalie. So he will have use for that as well. You are locking up a goalie at a top team for the lowest possible cost by picking Aaron Ramsdale with the score of 40. And you would hope then that gives you the flexibility, if needed, to buy a bigger goalie, a more expensive goalie, should we say, to partner him if and when. But Arsenal are generally going to have quite good matchups throughout the season, being how their form is at the moment. They also have Everton as their next match. And as our usual co-host, Dornado, will tell you, that is an absolute plum fixture for any team in the Premier League. So I will open up with Aaron Ramsdale as my first budget goalkeeper pick. And we'll move on to number 2, Robert Sanchez. Old Sanchez. He comes in at 42 cap cost, slightly more than Ramsdale. But you can see here, recent transfer to Chelsea, surprising transfer to Chelsea from my eyes, as he'd fallen out of favour at Brighton, but he's moved to Chelsea, started the first 4 games of the season with varying results. You can see a nice high 69 there and a 18 to go with it. But he has seemed to have cemented that number 1 role. They've brought in another keeper from New England, but I think Sanchez is pretty settled at keeping that number 1 shirt. What I like about Sanchez is his upcoming run of games is fairly tidy. Bournemouth and then home to Aston Villa, and away to Fulham, and then I believe the one after that is Burnley, which also is a fairly good fixture. So you're looking at a good run with him. So that's what intrigues me about him. And a never-ending hope with Chelsea is obviously the sheer volume of players they've signed. Eventually, they gel into like a half-decent team and start picking up results. You know, how many more players do they need to buy to start picking up wins and clean sheets? But you're hoping in these next 4 games, his curve might start to go up, and this might be as low as you are able to get him. And I think the Sanchez-Ramsdale partnership, even if you went with both of them, would allow you to spend a lot more on the outfield players. And they're both playing for reasonably top teams. So you should have at least one plum fixture between the pair of them each week. I know I said I wouldn't go double budget in every position, but I think goalie could be the one way you could do it. So Robert Sanchez was my second goalie pick. Moving on to defenders, I am going to open up with a Spurs player. Why did I pick this guy? I think the manager's got a lot to do with it. Ange Postecoglou has got Spurs, you know, looking like a more enticing attacking unit. So you could say maybe that this pick was destiny. That's my attempt at a destiny joke. Apologies. But Spurs defenders have generally been putting in good shifts so far this season. I've been putting up good scores. Romero, Porro, you know, they're all at it. And Destiny himself has put up, let's get his stats up here, 168 in his last 2. You know, so I wouldn't bank on his cap cost being as low as it is for much longer, because that is a tidy runner for me. So you can see a pretty solid start to the season here, except when he was against the mighty Manchester United, which, you know, is a problem for a lot of people. Another reason I really like Destiny is his next fixture, home to Sheffield United. So if you're looking real short term and just at this first week, then home to Sheffield United is one of the plum draws in the Premier League this season. They've also got Luton in the next 4 as well. And Luton and Sheffield United being the favourites to go down, you know, that's a good first 2 out of 4 fixtures for you to plug him in for. And with the way he's going, his cap cost probably isn't going to be as low as the 49 that it currently is. If we are having a look at another defender option, I can scroll back up and show you I went for Ben Chilwell. Comes in again, an absolute bargain budget of 40. We've talked about Ben Chilwell a lot on our podcast since the season built up and then started. You know, seems to have cemented that left wing back role at Chelsea. And he's been getting forward a lot to start the season. You know, Chelsea, again, on the same theme as I went with Sanchez. Their fixtures make him appealing at budget cost. You know, he's been getting forward regularly on that left flank. Keeps getting forward like he is. You'd hope that the decisives will begin to flow and they'd get some more assists. He's putting a lot of crosses into the box. You know, at some point, there's a lot of hope and there's been a lot of talk that Chilwell is gonna pop. He did go through on goal against Luton, if you saw that one on the telly. And instead of just rolling it in net, he decided to square it from plumb in front of goal. But, you know, hopefully these decisives are going to start rolling in. So they're the Bournemouth, Villa, Fulham. You know, I would hope to see an uptick in form. And if he continuously plays left wing back for Chelsea, I don't see him being 40 for much longer. So, yeah, very good budget pick in my eyes. Chilwell's one I like and will definitely be putting into my team. We move on to the midfielders now, and I am going to start with Matoma at Brighton. 47 on the cap cost. Away to Man United next up isn't the most ideal fixture, but Brighton look capable of beating anyone at the moment. So maybe they're starting to move towards being fixture proof. But you could also partner him with another big hitter to avoid the fixture this week. Who they got coming up after that? Midweek utility and then Bournemouth at home. So if you don't fancy the Man United away fixture, it does seem to improve after that. Brighton continue to roll on no matter who the manager is. Matoma gets the nod here, partly based on him passing the eye test with me. Every time I've watched him play, he's looked very silky and like he could beat anyone he wants to with the ball at his feet. He started the season well. Brighton have put up some good scores. You can see here since the season started, 82, 95, 40 and a 64. So his form's there. 3 of those fixtures gave him a score well above his 47 cap, which is leading you that he's going to trend well above a 47 soon. He's got that midweek utility as well. Brighton should have easy European games, considering they're a very solid squad and they're playing teams like Athens. You don't usually plug in an outfield common player, but he is there if you wanted someone who you thought had a really good chance of a big win. Brighton likely to be favourites in a lot of their European matches. But yeah, he started the season really well, and 47 doesn't look like lasting long. We move on to my second choice. Now, I didn't really want to make this choice. In the reverse of Matoma, this man doesn't pass the eye test with me. But I decided to make this pick based not on my judgment, because he starts for Arsenal and Germany. And I would imagine there's coaches and managers at that squad, at those teams, that know more than I do about football. So absolute lowest cap cost again. He is in at 40. And you have to hope that Arteta is right when he says it's just a matter of time until Havertz becomes, good and starts hitting those scores to back up justifying starting for Arsenal and Germany. Arsenal are a strong attacking team, so you'd like to think that the chances are going to come. Personally, I'm still not sure why they bought him, and I don't think he was worth the money they paid. But I am currently wearing a Man United shirt, and they beat us 3-1 last weekend, so I can't really pretend to not have an Arsenal anti-bias. Kai Havertz is a budget player in at 40, and he does give you a route into a good team at a low cost, and there has to be upside, right? If he keeps starting every game for Arsenal and they keep winning games, you'd have to think he can improve from there. So I don't want to do it, but I am going to recommend Arsenal based on coaches, managers and stats that are better informed than me. So that is Kai Havertz going in as a midfield option, which leaves us with forwards. And I am going to start with Raul Jimenez, Fulham's new striker this season. After Mitrovic departed to Saudi, the runway to number 9 looks to be clear for Jimenez. You can see here he started all 4 games for his new club. Was out of favour at Wolves at the end of last season, which is probably why his L15 is so low, because he just did not have a starting berth for them at the end of last year. As you can see here, a lot of DMPs. But what really draws me to Jimenez is the short-term aspect of him. At only 40 cap cost, he does get Luton at home in the first weekend, which you would have to say is a pretty plum fixture. That's the one you'd want to be targeting all season. So yeah, Raul Jimenez, I think he could be a sneaky choice to rack up his biggest score of the season so far. And at 40, if you were bringing him in just for one game, you could then keep him on the back burner as an enabler if you were having your other striker as, say, a Haaland or a Salah or someone that costs a lot more. He's a very good starting balance to them after this week, for example. So we went with Raul Jimenez. And last up, my other striker. There's no way I was going to go through the whole video and not recommend the Man United player to you. I just had to find the perfect one, and I have gone for Erasmus Højlund, coming in at 41 cap cost. Man United's a big signing this summer, the new superstar Danish recruit. United have been looking in desperate need of a out-and-out striker, so Rashford can be left out wide and Martial can be taken off the pitch entirely. Obviously, Højlund was coming back from a little niggle when he signed up, so he hasn't been starting games. Just got back on the pitch for them against Arsenal, and then he got on the pitch twice for Denmark in the international break. So he started to log those minutes back up. And if not in the next game, you'd have to think, within the next 2, he's going to be starting for United. And then from then on, is going to start logging some serious minutes, because United really don't have many other options behind him. Someone needs to put the ball in for the back of the net for United. And I think Højlund is the answer, being served by Bruno Fernandes as well. I think a cap cost of 41 is not going to last long at Man United. And I think he'll be fairly reliable to be playing every week. So you won't have to worry about the rotation, which you would get at, say, Man City. So I did manage to sneak a Man United player in there. I'm recommending Højlund for the last of my 8 picks. Yeah, so there we have it. So just to recap quickly, we had Ramsdale and Sanchez in goal, Destiny and Chilwell at the back, Havertz and Matoma in midfield, and Jimenez and Højlund as our striking options. Now, you might be thinking, what else can I do with my team once I've created it? And there is another option for you. You can enter private leagues, and we have a private league ourselves called the Beat the Boys League, back for season 6. In this league, we give away weekly prizes to anyone that finishes above the 3 members of the Beat the Boys team, the Sorare Thursday Club team. You're going to draw if you finish above us. Someone wins a prize every week, and at the end of the season, it's usually the top 6 to 10 win a prize as well. Just open this up, and we have 5 pages of entrance so far, so looking good. Here is the details on how you can join. I'll put the link in the description below, and the code's on screen now, but that'll be in the link below as well. All you have to do is sign up to this league, and as long as you enter your Premier League amateur team each week in the Sorare competition, you'll automatically be in this league, and your squad and points will be updated. It's free, and over 6 game weeks, I think season 6 is going to go on for, you will win prizes weekly, and there'll be overall prizes. So definitely worth chucking your name in and seeing if you can beat us. I'll put everything in the description below, like I said. But for now, check out our Twitter. I'll put any updates on there, and the prizes will be revealed before deadline on Friday of what you can win. But that is now everything. So that's all from me. Good luck drafting your teams. I hope these budget picks do you well, and I hope to do battle with you in the private leagues. So, yeah, I'm out. Viva la Thursday Club. Thanks for watching.